Greetings nerdy list aficionados, we're back with some more alternate versions, this time of the Avengers. Like Kelly mentioned in part 1, it's a bit of an intricate one to assemble. You tweak one thing and the whole team just dissolves. Still, there are plenty of interesting and strong alternate versions. I've picked a variety, from whole teams to prominent members to, well, less prominent but not exactly reserve members. I'm Sasha and these are the top 10 strongest alternate versions of Avengers Part 2. Number 10. Venom Clint Barton. Hawkeye. The Venom symbiote gets around, but Eddie will always be its true love. This venomized Hawkeye does not come from the Venomverse storyline. Surprise. In this world, Clint was possessed by the symbiote after Mac Gargan, aka the Scorpion, who was rocking it during his tenure on the Dark Avengers. He exists in a reality known as the War Zone, one of the remnants of realities left after the Secret Wars in 2015. This one is an alternate Earth in which the first Civil War, because yes, at this time there is more than one, there's two, after the first and better but still a hot mess Civil War, never ended. Instead, the country was divided into two sections, one ruled by Tony called the Iron and the other by Cap called the Blue. So Venom Clint was recruited by Spidey to infiltrate the Iron, which he agreed to for revenge, a dish best served through secret stealth operations. Why revenge? Not fully explained, but that's fine. So with this you have the symbiote's abilities, which of course include the heightened senses and strength, the augmentation of adrenaline and healing factor, the creation / manifestations of one's violent creations or thoughts, on top of Hawkeye's marksmanship, and in this universe, his rage. The symbiote does well when bonded to someone with anger issues. I guess there are so many Clintar now I can't just say the symbiote, but I'll always think of Venom first. Number 9. Jewel from Earth 523002. So Jewel is Jessica Jones, a character introduced in Alias, the first outing of the Max Marvel Comics imprint, a place where more adult and brutal stories could be told. In her original arc, Jessica had barely begun her superhero career when she is waylaid by the Purple Man, who takes her as his mind-controlled slave, until tiring of her, he sicks her on the Avengers, who she attacks in a brainwashed rage, so they brutally beat her into a coma. Upon being aided into wakefulness by Jean Grey, in the original arc she retires for a time to be a private detective, and spends years sorting through her pain, trauma, and complicated relationship with her abilities. But of course, this is Marvel, so we have what ifs. This what if from 2005 is called What If Jessica Jones Had Joined the Avengers. In this universe, after awakening from her coma and being offered a "we're sorry we beat you nearly to death" spot on the team, she accepts. I'm telling you, they're just offering it out to everybody. She starts her career as an Avenger, and eventually starts a relationship with and marries Captain America. This Avengers team thus gets a strong new member, one ready to fight, with all of Jessica's latent abilities, super strength, flight, durability, and thanks to Jean, telepathic resistance to help her resist the Purple Man in the future. She's low, cause in the superhero world that's a pretty standard power set. Plus in the main verse she joins the Avengers later anyways. Number 8. Iron Patriot, Tony Stark, not Norman Osborn from Contest of Champions. This version of Tony is so twisted, I kinda love it. So for this we need to go back to the Illuminati, the superhero team determined to preemptively protect the universe from threats, and Reed's on the team, so you know it can come to no good. In their quest to keep people safe, they hunt down the Infinity Stones to form the Gauntlet, and Reed tried to wish them out of existence. However, the Watcher shows up to tell them that that isn't actually possible, as the universe needs the stones to exist. So instead the stones are divided amongst the members of the Illuminati. Tony gets the Reality Stone, and this reality he uses it, and begins subtly shifting reality during Civil War in his favor. He saved Steve though, so yay. But he made himself president. Under his tenure he created the Mighty Avengers, and functions as their leader, the Iron Patriot. Through some Battle Realm Maestro Hulk shenanigans, he is separated from his Reality Stone, but with it, in his home universe, he was a force to be reckoned with. The stones are meant to tempt their users, and this Tony just couldn't resist the pull. The power to do whatever one wants. Good stuff. Good stuff. Number 7. Wanda Maximoff from Earth 10082. Famine in this universe. In this universe, the Scarlet Witch has been turned into one of Apocalypse's 4 horsemen, specifically Famine. Her fellow horsemen in this universe were Wolverine, Spider-Man, and Red Hulk. They appeared as part of the Heroic Age event, and were really just there for a bit of shock, especially for Spider-Man, who was all, "Oh, me a horseman of the apocalypse? How could this be?" Still, the idea of Scarlet Witch with all of her destructive reality warping, or in some cases destroying powers, combined with augmented powers of one of Apocalypse's horsemen, people would be dropping dead on the spot. But the Avengers still defeat them, cause heroes. Avengers assemble! Number 6. Thunderstrike, Eric Masterson. Now I can see some of your feathers getting ruffled, but stay with me a moment. Eric Masterson is one of the many other characters to take on the mantle of Thor. However, initially when this character appeared, he was Thor. The two were fused together. In fact, it was kind of awful for Eric, because both of their personalities were in there, like an angry thunderous firestorm. However, the two were separated after Thor killed Loki and was banished. But he begged for Eric, who he had become fond of, to not be left defenseless, especially not after having been Thor. So Heimdall causes Eric to become the new Thor, with all of the Thunder God's powers, but this time with his own mind, 100%. He very quickly after, due to fans', let's say, feedback, became Thunderstrike, his own character, but still Thor, with an axe, called Thunderstrike. So he's named after his weapon, basically. Still, it's a solid weapon name. However, for his time as Thor, he was an Avenger with all of Thor's powers, but he was only kinda Thor. Feeling my reach? Put some stretch into it. He did better on his own. I know some of you were mad he was on my worst Avengers list. I still maintain he was better being a secret defender with Rhodey. Yes, you can be strong, and I still want you solo. Bow to my whims. Number 5. The MCU's Avengers. They get a mention mid-ranked. I know some don't consider them alternates, but well, they are. The main verse is 616. Everyone else just wishes they were. Well, not really. Some people have way better alternate realities. This team has been one followed by the public, and for some is who they think of when they think of the Avengers. They came together to defeat Thanos and solve their version of the Infinity Gauntlet arc, bringing back half the universe, even after being torn apart by Civil War. Impressive, and a cinematic event to behold. Number 4. NATALIA Romanova, the Iron Spider of Earth TRN 619. So she's a member of President Stark's Mighty Avengers, and had a similar history to her 616 counterpart, until things were altered by Tony using the Reality Stone. When Tony picked her to be a member of his team, he gave her the Iron Spider armor. So we have Natasha, with all of her training and ruthlessness, with an Iron Spider suit, cause well, Spider-Man is on the other side. So she gets all the perks that armor has to bring, which is a lot, and she gets to look good doing it. Man, Tony and Pierre's relationship was really messed up by Civil War. Can you imagine now he sees Black Widow in his old armor? Just, well, it's on. Or it would be if this universe hadn't come to an end. Number 3. Vampire Avengers. Gotta love a whole team of vampires. Well, you don't, but I do. These Avengers come from Earth 3931, and were all turned by Captain America, who was turned by Baron Blood. In fact, he got turned all the way back during World War II. His Avengers are all his personal slaves. Some people retain their sense of self after they turn, and some people just go full scorched earth. This team went up against the Exiles, and it did not go well. Still, this Cap had his serumness plus an additional vampire boost on top. The strength, the mesmerization, the teleportation, he was stacked. It would be nice to see Vamp Cap again. He's like Capwolf for me, just more supernatural Steve Rogers. Transformation on top of transformation. Number 2. Let's stay in the same vein with the Undead Avengers. Yes, there are different types of undead. It encompasses a wide breadth of creatures. These Avengers come from Earth 666. Cute. They've got Frankencastle, which I maintain still sounds like a cereal. So not much is known about this Earth, except that it's made up of supernatural creatures, and the societal structure is based around all these subgroups. And the best of each group united to form these Avengers, as a representation that all these groups could work together and protect this supernatural Earth. Inspiring. And come on, you know, a hero team featuring vampires, werewolves, zombies, witches, etc. has got to be awesome. All the bonus damage they can take and wreak. I mean, are they good? I don't know. Number 1. Rogue Danvers. This is actually 2 characters, let me explain. So this rogue was Carol Danvers, and still kinda is. This character hails from Earth 9289, which was briefly visited by the mainverse Captain Marvel. In this universe, the transference of power between her and Rogue went differently. In this world, Rogue held on too long. Well, too long comparatively, and ended up absorbing more than Carol's power, i.e. strength, flight, etc., her memories, and her personality. In fact, she held on so long that Carol did too. It went both ways, and instead of slipping into a coma like she did in the 616 verse, she absorbed Rogue's powers and personality. So in essence, they swapped. So Carol is Rogue and Rogue is Carol. So I'm counting both. We have a nerfed up Captain Marvel post-binary Exet and Rogue. That's a lot of a lot. Cosmic absorption power. The mainverse Carol encounters these two while peering across the multiverse to encounter other versions of herself with the Reality Stone during Infinity Countdown Captain Marvel. That's a mouthful. So those were 10 more strong alternate versions of Avengers. I just like looking through all these alternate versions. I know you all do too. Thanks so much for being so welcoming to Dylan. I'm pre-recording this, so you better have been. He's my comic bro. No one else gets me when I start quoting Evil Reed, except Dylan. And Kelly, she's getting on board. You need people like that. People who can send a pic of Doom painting Namor to you and it's not weird, unlike this outro. So thanks so much for watching Top 10 Nerd. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for even more nerdy lists, more alternates, more fun. And I and all the others will see you again soon. Bye bye!